Welcome back to part 2 of this tutorial, and with that in row 8. I put a link to the written pattern into the description box below. That's always a good way to learn how to read written patterns and crochet charts. Just put them next to your work and then you can simultaneously see in the video what to do and how all this is translated into a crochet chart. Alright, as always, we start with the 3 chain stitches for the base and the 2 for the height. Then 3 double crochets, 1 each into every chain stitch of the base. That's 3 double crochets. And the 4th, and here's where I turn my work, the 4th goes into the first stitch of this group of 4, as always. Then chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, two around the chain, and 1 into the first stitch of the following group. Next we chain 5. This is already the start of the next frame that we build around a new heart. Then 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the following group, and the other 3 double crochets of the group around the chain. Four in total. Now chain 4, and then here we have the double crochets of our heart. Into the first 5 of them, we now work 5 double crochets casted off together. Yarn over, insert, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops. With that, we prepared the first one. Same for the second, yarn over, insert, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops. That's 2 that we prepared. Same for the third, the fourth, and the 5th. And now we have 6 loops on our hook. Now get the yarn and pull it through all 6 loops to cast them off together. Next, we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then skip the half double crochet that we crocheted into the middle stitch before and directly cast off the following 5 double crochets together again. These will be the top arcs of the heart. The first was this one, and now we build the second one. And now we again cast off all these 6 loops together. Okay, here in front of the heart we had 4 chain stitches. But now, after the heart, we chain 5. The reason for that is this first chain stitch, which lies right above this arc of 5 double crochets casted off together. And the following 4, 2, 3, 4 now span the same distance as the 4 over here. Next, we work 3 double crochets around the chain, one, 2, 3, and the fourth goes into the first stitch of the group. So that all this is symmetrical. After that, we again chain 5, because this is where the next frame starts. Then 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, two around the chain, and one more into the first stitch of the following group. Chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch, and then we add our usual 3 double crochets at the end. But you already know all that from the first part of this tutorial. With that, row 8 is finished, and we continue with row 9. Chain 3 as the base and 2 for the height. Then the 3 double crochets, turn your work, and the last double crochet goes into the first stitch of this group. Then chain 2, a double crochet into the last stitch of the group, same as before, two double crochets around the chain, and the fourth double crochet into the first stitch of the following group. Next, we chain 4, and now here we have 5 chain stitches, and into the middle one we work 3 double crochets. So we start our heart the same way we did in row 5. Only difference is that in row 5 we have only 1 heart, and now in row 9 we have 2. One left and one right. 2 hearts in row 9. Chain 4, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, and again 3 double crochets around the following chain. We always need a group of 4. After that, we chain 5, and then around this chain between the 2 arcs of the heart, we work 1 single crochet. This is the exact middle of our shawl. Then chain another 5 stitches, 3 double crochets around the chain, and the fourth into the first stitch of the following group, so that we have a complete group. Next, we're going to start our second heart. For that, we first chain 4, and then work 3 double crochets into the middle stitch of this chain of 5. chain 4, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, two around the chain, and one more into the first stitch of the following group. Then we chain 2 more, one double crochet into the last stitch, and then we add 3 double crochets at the end. You always work the last 2 groups the same. Alright, this was row 9. Next is row number 10. Chain 3 and 2 more for the height. Three double crochets into the first 3 chain stitches. Then turn your work and crochet 1 more double crochet into the first stitch of this next group. Then chain 2, a double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 double crochets around the chain, and the 4th into the first stitch of the following group. Now we reach the heart again. So we chain 4, and then into the first of the 3 double crochets, we work also 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Only 1 double crochet into the middle one, and another 3 into the third, just like we did with our first heart before. 1, 2, 3. Chain 4 to go over to the next group, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of that group, and 3 around the following chain. Then chain 2, and now I skip the single crochet here because I'm again at the middle of our shawl. Then I work 3 double crochets around the following chain. 1, 2, 3, and 1 into the first stitch of the group. And already I am at the left heart. So I again chain 4, work 3 double crochets into the first of the 3, one into the second, and another 3 into the last one. 1, 2, 3. Chain 4, 1 double crochet into the last of the group, 2 around the chain, one into the first of the group, chain 2, and then work the last group of 4 double crochets as usual. And with that, row 10 is finished. You can see that the bottom heart is almost fully framed. Only one group of 4 double crochets up here in the middle is still missing. We will crochet that group now in row 11. And then this first heart is framed. That's why I call this shawl embraced hearts, because the hearts are embraced by such a frame, and also because this is woolly hugs, so that fitted very well as a name. The 11th row starts, as always, with 3 chain stitches and then 2 more for the height. 3 double crochets, then I turn my work, 1 double crochet into the first stitch of this group to get my group of 4, then chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 around the chain, and 1 more into the first stitch of the following group. Chain 4, and then we are at the heart again, and we work 2 double crochets into the first stitch of the heart. So here in row 11 we are at the same spot as we were in the 7th row with the lower heart. 1 double crochet into the second stitch, 2 double crochets into the next, then a half double crochet into the following, again 2 double crochets, then only 1 double crochet, and another 2 into the last stitch of this heart. Now chain 4. Here 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group right after the heart, 2 double crochets around the following chain of 2, and the 4th double crochet into the first stitch of the next group. And now our heart is fully framed, or fully embraced by these little groups of 4 double crochets. Next we chain another 4 stitches, and then we reach the next heart, where we start with 2 double crochets into the first stitch. Then 1 double crochet into the following stitch, 2 into the next, one half double crochet into the middle one, another 2 double crochets into the 5th, then 1 double crochet into the 6th, and 2 more into the 7th and last stitch. Then chain another 4 stitches, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the following group, 2 double crochets around the chain, and 1 more into the first of the last group. Chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, and then we add our usual 3 double crochets. And now you can already see how our hearts are slowly forming. And we can start row 12. Chain 3, and 2 more for the height, 1 double crochet each into the 3 chain stitches of the base, then I turn my work and work the 4th double crochet into the first stitch of the group. Chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 double crochets around the chain of 2, and 1 more double crochet into the first stitch of the following group. Next, we chain 5, because with that we now start preparing the next row of hearts. Then the first double crochet goes into the last stitch of this group, and the following 3 double crochets we work around the chain. Then we have our 4 double crochets as always. Next, we build the 2 arcs of the heart again. So chain 4, and then 5 double crochets casted off together, five, and cast off, then chain 5, skip the half double crochet and repeat. 5 double crochets casted off together. Chain another 5 stitches, then 3 double crochets around the following chain, one double crochet into the first of the group, chain 2, then 1 double crochet into the last stitch of this group, and 3 more around the following chain. Then we reach the next heart, so we chain 4 and work 5 double crochets that we all cast off together. Then chain 5, skip the half double crochet and work another 5 double crochets casted off together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cast off all 5. Chain 5, then 3 double crochets around the chain, 1, 2, 3. The 4th double crochet goes into the first stitch of this group, and then we chain another 5 stitches. Here too, we prepare the frame for our next heart in the following row. Then into the last stitch of the group, I work the first double crochet, 2 double crochets around the chain, and the 4th double crochet into the first stitch of the following group. And then, as always, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the last group, and then add your usual 3 double crochets at the end. Alright, and now we finish our second row of hearts. Only thing missing is to close their frames. We continue to do that in row 13. You can see this diamond-shaped frame here that we will continue exactly as we did this one down here. We start as always with 3 chain stitches for the base and 2 for the height and the 3 double crochets. Then I turn my work and the 4th double crochet goes into the first stitch of this group. Then chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 double crochets around the chain, and 1 into the first stitch of the following group. Now here we chain 4, and then work 3 double crochets into this middle stitch of the chain, so the 3rd chain stitch. 1, 2, 3, chain 4, a double crochet into the 4th stitch, and 3 double crochets around the chain. Next, you chain 5, and then crochet that 1 single crochet around this chain in between the 2 arcs of the heart. Chain another 5 stitches, 3 double crochets around the following chain, the 4th double crochet into the first stitch of this group, then chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 around this chain of 2, and 1 more double crochet into the first stitch of the following group. Chain 2, a double crochet into the last stitch of the group, and 3 double crochets around the chain. After that, we again chain 5, because we are now above the heart again. 1 single crochet around the chain between the arcs, chain 5, 3 double crochets around the following chain, and 1 more into the first stitch of the group. Then chain 4. We are in the beginning of a new heart again, so work 3 double crochets into the middle stitch of the following chain of 5. Chain 4, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, 2 around the chain, the 4th double crochet into the first stitch of the following group, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the last stitch of the group, and then you finish the group as always by adding 3 double crochets. Okay, now we nicely finished the hearts and we have only 2 rows left for the frames. this one and this one, so that the heart is then fully framed. I will show you how to continue in row 14 in part 3 of this tutorial. If you like, you can visit my Woolly Hacks group on Facebook. I put a link in the description box below. Just have a look, you can find inspiration for a lot of different designs and patterns there. Hope to see you again in part 3. Love, Veronika.